And the second speech is by Elias Pietilä, and he has been awarded with Apple Design in 2009 and is working for Qvik. Actually, you are co-founder of Qvik. But anyway, so I hope you enjoy the topic because it's less technical, it's more about user experience and design. So, well, let's give an applause to Elias, please.
Thank you so much. I entered the app scene in 2008. I made a game called Pietilä, and later a game called Wooden Library 3D. And that game has actually shipped about 10 million copies, and that's why they let me talk at these events. And then we started Qvik, which is a mobile development and design company. We do iPhone applications, Android applications, and now we also branched out to Windows Phone 7 and some mobile web stuff, which is probably going to be up and coming. So when I walked in, I noticed that the Android that we were going to talk about was the green Android, because yeah, so I'm here to talk about the dawn of human augmentation and like real androids. Now, so actually we're not yet at the dawn of human augmentation, but we are in the night that precedes the dawn. And though, I mean, we don't have these things yet, and that's, I don't know the user experience of those. I mean, you watch Matrix and it's not good, right? You stick in some big probes into those things, but we are actually augmented already, because these androids that we have, or any smartphone for that matter, that we have in our pocket all the time, everywhere, it's actually an augmentation. It gives us superhuman powers that we didn't have before. Like, just the act of calling someone. I mean, you can't yell that far. You can't talk that far unless you're psychic. And so now we have this augmentation to ourselves that allows us to do things that we couldn't before. So we have new senses and new capabilities. But when I'm talking about Android here, I have to confess that I'm a raging Apple fanboy. So my world looks a bit different. So the green guy over there looks to me like a pilot. So just keep that in mind when I talk here, that things for me look greener on the left. But still, I really feel that the potential is on the right side at the moment. So in all fairness, go there. So let's look at the agenda for today. First of all, I'm going to tell you who I am, which I already did. Then I'm going to jump into the boring stuff and do some word definitions. And then the rest is just going to be stuff that either works or doesn't work on mobile. Okay, so I made a beautiful slide for this, but we already covered that, so I'm Elias still, and I do all this stuff. Then here's our company, Qvik, and as I said, we have about 20 people now, and we would very much want to have more. So send those CVs to me. Okay, so let's go to the beef, really. So let's start with some definition. What is UX? What is user experience? And as you may have noticed, the slide about me didn't have like anything like Master of Science or even Bachelor of Science. So I don't have any sort of academic background to this, really. So I mean, take it with a grain of salt. This is my idea of it. If there's any professors here or something, they probably going to just, you know, facepalm the whole time. So the way I see user experience is that here's the user, and he wants to be a skateboarding android. So how can we make that happen? How can we make that person to be a skateboarding android? Well, we need an application, and what the application first needs is some magic tech that does some super cool thing that allows him to have that skateboard. Then we tap on some UI design, and finally we sprinkle it with cool graphics and whatnot. And then we have the beautiful application transforming you into an android, into an augmented person with that new skill. Okay, so what part of this is user experience? In my view, it's the whole freaking thing. So user experience is what makes androids. Because what else do you expect to get out of an application apart from the experience of using that application? Maybe ponies, but okay, we can have ponies there. That's good. So when I'm talking about these user experience things later on, I'm just going to skip the whole technology thing because that's very unique to all the applications. I mean, your application can be allowing people to navigate turn by turn, or allow it to recognize music, or I mean, there's tons of different magic things, new skills, new capabilities to a human that can be accomplished. But it's then the outer layers that actually have something in common. Okay, so let's take a look at UI design and graphics on Androids. Okay, and really these two layers are just, you know, the storytelling. So you have that great magical story of you can get from place A to place B, and we'll show you how. Now you just need to somehow tell that story. And we all know that good storytelling is like 90% of the story. And first of all, you need to know your audience. I now know that there's only one designer, and the rest of you are hard code coders, which is bad because I don't have any code. But really, in this case, it's not an iPhone. I mean, that's the first thing, because I come from an iPhone side, so the first thing I have to remember is that Android is not iPhone. So it has different standard idioms, like you have a back button, you have the options thing that comes from the bottom, and you're supposed to use them on the Android because that's the way Android works. So, I mean, even though you think iPhone is cooler and that everything should work like an iPhone, no, it should work like an Android if it's on the Android. So don't just port the same exact thing on the Android and think that, oh, everyone will love that. And the second thing about Android is that there's like a gazillion different shapes and sizes and capabilities on those phones. And you know, one day there's gonna be a freaking toaster in there just to mess you up. And what I would say is that do magic rather than everyone. So just limit your target. I mean, it doesn't, even if you're making an Android application, you don't have to make it for every freaking Android phone out there. It's actually better to just make it very good on like tablets, and then people will be like, oh, I want it on my phone, I want it on my phone. And so you create that preemptive sort of demand for it when you finally make that phone version of it. So concentrate your energy on the thing that you really want to do. If you don't have the energy to do all the different form factors, just do one, so forth. About default look and feel, I mean, there's always a default look and feel. On the Android's case, it's kind of bad, at least the look. So, I mean, get rid of the look, make your own look, but the feel is good because people are used to that feel. So don't mess with the feel, really. And finally, if it's worth doing, do it right. And on that sort of topic, there are no more excuses. Because, I mean, in 2007, I was working at Digi and we were doing stuff like this. And that's, seriously, 2007, the same year that iPhone launched. I mean, come on, we were designing this and they told us, okay, you can change this icon to a different icon, and then you have an icon space here, but nothing else can be touched. Because this was like sacred. And I don't know if they even could. I mean, technically, this was the list element. It had 3 icons and 2 rows of text. So something could be pretty good for mobile. These days, I mean, this is the applications that we have these days. These just, wow. I mean, you don't have an excuse of being kind of mediocre because you're mobile.